Listen to me. If there was a wise man who would ever think of this, they would say in order to be superior to the man, you've got to be the man. For I am the man himself.
Gentlemen, boys and girls, what is going on? This is the Club of the Man 1993 here for some developing news in WWE, as of course I am recording this after the news was released this past Friday, November 1st, 2024. I plan on uploading this video after I do my Crown Jewel review. As of this moment when I'm recording this video, I have not yet watched Crown Jewel. So I'm recording this one and another video I've been meaning to record for a while back to back after this. And then once my wife wakes up from her nap, I will be watching Crown Jewel with her. But first, I wanted to get like these couple topic videos out of the way with here. Starting with some developing news that came out yesterday, I believe shortly before SmackDown. It was noted out there that WWE released 3 more talents this past Friday. First time it's been since probably around May or so, which most of them, and one of them was in the same boat here. Most of them, their contracts were expiring and they agreed not to renew their contract. That was one of them in this 3. The other 2, as of now, have 90-day no-compete clauses. One of them I was definitely a little more surprised than the other. But most of these you could say, I'm not surprised. But of course, you know, I'm definitely sad for all 3 of these releases as well. The 3 releases were Baron Corbin, Tegan Nox, and Indi Hartwell. Now, to talk about all 3 of them, I'll talk about Indi Hartwell first. This one probably surprised me the most out of the 3 of them because Indi is currently involved with Candice LeRae as a tag team. Of course, you know, it was a pre-recorded SmackDown this past Friday, and Indi and Candice did lose their tag match against Bayley and Naomi. Not sure how I feel about that, since especially they kind of gave Candice some momentum with the women's speed championship, and then she got that big pinfall victory over Bayley 2 weeks ago on SmackDown. I thought maybe they were going to start going in a good direction with Candice. I don't know if they still are after the loss they had in the tag match, or if in fact maybe there are some plans for Candice just without Indi. But yeah, I was surprised the most by Indi Hartwell. Personally, if I can be honest, I started to lose faith that there was things happening for Indi Hartwell last year when she had that NXT Women's title match against Becky Lynch, when Becky was briefly NXT Women's Champion for like 40-some days or whatever it was, because Becky had it also with another superstar on this list that we're going to mention in a second. But when she had that match with Becky, I saw the match and I realized, no offense, Indi needs some work. She may have been called up too soon, and I think that is indeed what happens. Heck, they gave her the NXT Women's Championship kind of time where it's like, oh, Indi. Okay, like I felt like, you know, there were other people above her, if I'm being honest. The most popular thing she probably did during her time was when she was involved with The Way, which was Candice LeRae, Johnny Gargano, her, and Austin Theory. Which, let's be real, I did not like that stable. I just didn't like heel Johnny Gargano. I didn't. A heel Candice works. A heel Johnny doesn't. Johnny is meant to be an underdog babyface. But yeah, I just feel like Candice had more work. I mean, not Candice. Well, maybe Candice, but they just gotta give Candice a shot. Indi, I just feel like just needed to get polished up more. She should have had more time in NXT. But especially since she was tag teaming with Candice LeRae, I am kind of surprised that they did cut her here. There's definitely a few others that I could say I'm surprised they didn't cut. I want to mention their names out of respect. Not that I don't want to ever see it happen. But there's some others I'm like, yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if they cut ties in, because it feels like there's nothing for them right now. But especially with WWE starting up this, I didn't get to look into it much, the WWE internet ID, the indie developmental system, or whatever the heck that they're calling it. They might be, of course, trying to make some room for the ones that they intend on trying to, do more with. And I believe these are 3 that right now there just really wasn't much creative plans for them. Well, again, Indi seemed to have something out of 3. The other 2 had nothing going for them right now. Absolutely nothing. But yeah, I'm probably surprised the most about Indi. But again, like I said, I can understand why she needed more work to do. And just right now, just wasn't the time. So, like the other 2, I don't really see Indi going to AEW. Like, I can see her maybe going to TNA. I don't know. But I don't see her going for, like, too big of a promotion right now. Heck, she could, and it may surprise me. And maybe she'll go back someday. Who knows? But we'll see. But yeah, Indi definitely surprised the most of the 3, but I do wish her the best, of course. And, I forgot to mention also, she was also married to Dexter Lumis. Yeah, that weird storyline there. I didn't quite get that either. But yeah, Indi, I think if you gave her more work to polish, she could be good. But like I said, it just wasn't her time right now. So, I wish Indi the best. The second, this one, oh gosh, this is someone I just wanted to be a star so bad, and it just didn't work. I don't know if it's because she's injury prone, or she just wasn't connecting with the audience, unfortunately, which happens. And that's Tegan Nox. This is Tegan's second time being released from WWE. The first time was in 2021, I think it was, she got released. And I kind of expected it, because they randomly brought her up after she returned from yet another year-long knee injury, which she's had 3 or 4 ACL injuries, I think. And when they brought her up that first time and put her in a tag team with Shotzi Blackheart, and then they immediately split them up, put them on separate brands, I knew Tegan was doomed. I sadly knew it was coming. But then when Triple H brought her back in 2022, I'm like, awesome, let's go. Because I've always been a fan of Tegan Nox. I feel like if there's anyone who can easily tell an underdog babyface storyline, it's her. I really thought she had it. And because getting back to what I mentioned with Becky being the NXT Women's Champion, they gave Tegan a shot. She was having some good matches, like when Becky requested to have a match with Tegan for the NXT Women's title. Despite the fact the crowd was not reacting, I thought it was a good match. She was a great wrestler. It's just, she just wasn't connected with the crowd. They put her with Natalya, kind of had this student and teacher type thing, tag team, which I think could have worked. They were teasing some different angles with it, but then they just dropped it randomly after WrestleMania and put Natalya on Raw, Tegan on SmackDown. I don't think we've seen her since. I don't think we've seen Tegan since right before WrestleMania. I know recently she did voice her opinion on not being on WWE Women's Speed show that they had as well. And she just gets released. Now, spoiler alert, before I get to the biggest name of the 3 of them. Indi and Tegan both, as of now, have 90-day no-compete clauses. So both of them are not going to be free agents for another 90 days. But it's just a shame. Like I said, Tegan's had a rough career. And I think the biggest problem is she's injury prone. She's injury prone, and people just aren't going to take her seriously because she could be gone just like that. First May Young, actually, now that I think of it, yeah, I believe it was 3. knee injury she's had. First Mae Young Classic she hurt her knee before she even got to wrestle a match. Second one, I think she was supposed to win the second one. I think I heard she was supposed to win the second one, and she was supposed to be the first NXT UK Women's Champion. She got hurt in that match with Rhea Ripley in the semifinals. And then she came back, would go to NXT UK, then go to NXT, and in 2020, like right around the time when she had that match with Io for the women's title, I really felt at that time she was starting to figure it out. She was starting to figure it out character-wise. She was getting the women's title shot. She had just kind of like, she came out during that time and was like, basically, it looked like she was like really like finding her groove in life. It felt like her career was taking off. She was able to, just be comfortable with coming out for, who she was, which, she's in the women. I don't know. I know she's not with, because that was with Sierra St. Pierre. There was another woman I know she was with. I don't know if she's with them still now, but I haven't seen any like posts on like Instagram or whatnot for ages. So I don't know what the plan is, where she stands like in that part of her life. But it was during that time that I just really felt like she was starting to like figure everything out. And then she got injured then. And then because she was in the midst of a feud with Candice LeRae. And then when she came back the following year, that's when they brought her up to SmackDown and with her and Tegan, her and Shotzi as a team, and then that's when she got released the first time. So she's kind of had like the short stick of the run. And I remember when Triple H brought her back in 2022, I really felt that given the right story, Tegan could have easily been like that underdog women's champion. It could be like, I don't know, dethroning Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania or something like that. I really thought, given the time, that could have happened. Unfortunately, again, like I said, the crowd, I don't know if it's because of her being injury prone or whatnot, but the crowd just never reacted to her. She just never connected with the audience. And I don't know if that's on her or if that's just on the audience, but it's a shame because like I said, I definitely saw huge babyface potential in her. Honestly, though, you could have given her a shot as a heel. That's one thing. They never gave her a shot as a heel. It could have maybe worked. You never know, especially when they were teasing, like, these cracks with her and Natty, but Natty was saying stuff like she's learning and whatnot, this, and that. Like, when she eliminated Natty from the Rumble, I'm like, okay, is this, like, like, I felt it was going to be, like, a long-term tag team where they were, like, teasing breakups, but really was just growing pains or something like that. But yeah, that's a bummer for me. I would say, like I said, Indi surprised me the most. Tegan's the one I'm probably bummed about the most of these three that got released. But yeah, I don't know if she'll go to AEW. Like I said, all three of these, I can't really see being standouts in AEW. Tegan, I feel like maybe go back to doing something like overseas. Since she's from Wales, I feel like that's the direction she may go with, but we'll see. We'll never know. I don't think she's ever coming back. Like, Indi, maybe. I can see her maybe coming back. Because this is her second release, I don't think Tegan's ever going to come back, if I'm being honest. And then the final one. Someone, again, I do feel bad. Again, all three I feel bad about. I do feel bad about Baron Corbin. But I just read before I started recording this video that apparently Baron Corbin was the only one of these three that his contract did expire. Like, they did agree that when his contract expires, he was going to get released. I mean, they were not going to resign. So Baron Corbin is, I believe, a free agent. I think he can basically do whatever he wants. Like I said, I don't know if Tony Khan will pick him up. Like, to me, it's like, I feel the same about Baron Corbin. Well, I was more shocked that Braun Strowman got released. But I didn't think Tony Khan was going to sign a Braun Strowman. I don't know if I see Tony Khan grabbing a Baron Corbin. But here's the thing about Baron Corbin. Well, first off, as far as like his recent run, I feel bad in the sense because he did go back to NXT for a year. He made some adjustments. He did improve. I didn't get to see a lot of his matches, but he did improve, so much so that he came back to the main roster as a babyface. And when he got brought back up, they put him in the King of the Ring tournament. I thought, okay, maybe this is going to try to get things going for him again. I thought he had a solid first round match against not Apollo Crews, against Carmelo Hayes, but he lost. And then he had a random tag team feud with him and Apollo Crews and Legado del Fantasma. And I'm like, is this really all they're going to do with him? Like, I don't know what would have happened if they would have kept him and Bron Breakker together, because they were the Wolf Dogs. And they just won the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic earlier this year. So I don't know, maybe he would have benefited more by just staying with him, but he didn't really have much to do. And even whenever Triple H first took over, you can tell the writing was kind of on the wall for him. They tried that thing with him and JBL, it didn't work. He went to NXT and he improved, but now I'm starting to wonder, was it kind of like the same thing of what... Because earlier in the year when Dijak left the company, he mentioned how it felt like that, they put him down at NXT just to see, what they could get out of him. And then they weren't planning on re-signing him. It was just a little bit of time of his contract. You wonder if maybe they did the same thing with Baron Corbin. I don't know, though. So that's why I kind of feel bad. It's like he did all that work to improve in NXT to get brought back up and not to have anything do, and then they don't sign him to a new deal. Which kind of sucks, if I'm being honest. And honestly, again, a lot of people gave Baron Corbin crap. I was too for a long time. Like, I would say I lost interest in Baron Corbin after he dropped the Money in the Bank briefcase, being the first person to fail his cash-in. They tried to salvage some momentum, giving him the United States Championship, but even that didn't help him. And then when they put him on Raw and made him the general manager, that's when it all went downhill. That's when they basically cemented Baron Corbin as the cheap heel magnet of the company. He was just there to be a cheap heel. And in interviews recently I listened to him, which, if you listen to interviews, he is a lot more of a smarter of a guy than they make us seem like on TV. Like, one advice he was given, that I remember he said in Chris Van Vliet's podcast, was that The Undertaker told him to protect his finish. Which is why was Drew McIntyre the only one who kicked out of the End of Days? I feel like maybe one or two more, but there was not many people kicked out of the End of Days. And that's because Undertaker told Undertaker told Baron Corbin to protect your finish. And whenever he would work with other guys, he would basically say, well, I'm going to make one deal here. You'll kick out, I won't kick out of your finish if you won't kick out of mine. So something like that, like some simpler things like that, he was smart with. It's just that, again, from 2018 till he went back to NXT, all he was, you're big old meanie. Cheap heel magnet, basically. And that's just what made him kind of unbearable. Didn't make him, stand out. Again, I was a huge fan of Corbin's when I first started watching NXT. And he got called up after winning the Honorary Diamond Memorial Battle Royal WrestleMania 32, which was a great move there, I thought. And when he got drafted to SmackDown, when the draft came back, I saw him being a big player. I saw him as a main eventer. And I even wanted to see him win Money in the Bank in 2017. They gave it to him, and then they made him fail his cash-in. I heard apparently it was also because he was arguing something about the concussions protocol or something like that, which is why they made him drop it. But it's just they just literally cut off all of his momentum just right there and then. Heck, I know he's had a lot of bad matches that people give him crap about, but here's a few good ones I can remember that he had. I remember the chairs match he had with Kalisto at TLC 2016. That one. I also remember, I think it was on the final SmackDown of 2016, he had that triple threat match for the world title. I think it was him, AJ, and Dolph Ziggler, I think. They had that triple threat match. Another outstanding match. And again, like I said, I know he's had some swing and misses. When he first got brought in, he was getting the Goldberg treatment in NXT. He was literally winning matches in 30 seconds. He was basically, people would attack him. The moment and the thing too was cool about him winning those matches is like, like Goldberg or like anybody else who got that like win short matches, they're explosive. They win with like a spear or something like that. Corbin, it was kind of like he sucked you into his trap and hit that end of days. And I feel like it was even cooler seeing someone like that get the dominant victories. But like I said, the moment like Vince got his grubby hands on him again, he just... And one time I remember the reason why Vince pushed him so weirdly, they made him the cheap heel magnet, but he gave him so much attention because he saw him as a ladies' man. I remember. They said that in like 2019 when he feuded with Seth Rollins for the world title. Oh God, remember how bad those matches were? Especially that one at Stomping Grounds with Lacey Evans as a special guest referee. Oh, I think back in the day, I made that my worst match of 2019. Of course, with my upcoming series I'm still still setting up for, it's definitely on the list, but it's not number one in 2019, but it's definitely one of the worst. Oh God, like I said, they just booked him horribly. And Corbin himself has said he was okay with playing like, the heel character people guys come up it's on. I'm fine with people who are okay with that. But you gotta be able to establish yourself as a much more threat, much more of a big deal, that when you do get your comeuppance put on you, then it's a bigger deal. Just like also, how can I forget about this? He was the one who retired Kurt Angle. Yeah, remember how abysmal that match was? Not just the fact that Kurt was in horrible shape at the time, but, like, who wanted to see a Legends final match be against Baron Corbin? Who also, no offense, didn't storyline-wise have the qualifications to be a general manager. It's like taking a jobber and making them GM, act like they know everything. Like, what? But Corbin did try. That's something that I should give whatever Corbin's real name is, I had credit for. Any role he was given, whether it was, the Lone Wolf, which was probably his best. Bum-ass Corbin. Whenever Corbin lost King of the Ring and he basically went broke, they struck gold with that. But then what happened? Vince got bored of it and he made him Happy Corbin. That was also... I think the two worst gimmicks he had for sure were the GM and Happy Corbin. That was so bad. Although what was hilarious though is that when they were transitioning him over to Happy Corbin and they changed his name on the WWE roster page, they still had him in his like hobo gear, whatever it was, and it said Happy Corbin. That was priceless when I saw that happen. But that PNG of him with the the homeless look was just hilarious. But again, he made that work. But then of course they didn't just roll with it. They just dropped it and made him Happy Corbin. God. I did though. I'll give him the match I forgot to mention that I liked. I did like his match he had with Pat McAfee at SummerSlam 2022. That also was a good match. I did enjoy that. So credit where that one is. But yeah, unfortunate for all three of them. Like I said, Corbin's been at the company for 12 years. Tegan Nox, again, just didn't connect with the crowd, but also was injury prone. Indi needed more work. But I'm surprised they released her, for sure. But yeah, like I said, Corbin, apparently, his contract expired. Tegan and Indi, they have 90 days. So, all three of them, I do wish them the best in all their future endeavors, and I do hope good things for them down the line. So, what are your guys' thoughts on Baron Corbin, Tegan Nox, and Indi Hartwell getting released? Did I miss anything involving these guys as well? Leave your guys' thoughts down in the comments section below. Be sure also, as always, to slap a like on the video and subscribe for more content on my channel. Follow me on Twitter as well, The Club of the Man 93. You may also follow me on TikTok and Instagram at The Club of the Man 1993. And until then, guys, I'm checking out. I'll catch you all later. Have a great rest of your day. And do not forget, in order to be superior to the man, you've got to be the man. And for I am the man himself. And that is not just an opinion, my friends. That is a fact of life. Yeah!